Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Daily Wire dated January 28th, and it says Chicago Tribune viciously attacks Dr. Phil for joining ICE as they deport sex offender. The editorial board compared him to the Taliban for documenting an arrest. Now, I do this because, or at least do this video, I should say, because Chicago Tribune, as I've mentioned before, I live in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. The Tribune was our newspaper of choice back when, they were sending them all the time. The Tribune and the Chicago Sun-Times are the two big papers in Chicago. I don't even know if the Sun-Times is around anymore. You just don't see newspapers anywhere. Obviously, the Tribune is, but they've just turned into a pile of crap. Typical leftist BS. They're just as much, they're just as bad as the LA Times was, Washington Post is, and the New York Times. So, and Dr. Phil, remember, Dr. Phil was there with ICE, getting rid of bad people. The Tribune apparently has a problem with that. So it says, the Chicago Tribune editorial board viciously attacked television's Dr. Phil McGraw for appearing at the scene as ICE arrested an illegal immigrant who was a convicted sex offender and internet predator, according to ICE. I'm not going to read the whole thing there. We'll just call them ICE. And they should have put the abbreviation up. It should have done this part here first before, if you know how this stuff works. Yeah. So anyway, back to getting rid of the editorial mindset. It says, in an editorial Monday, the once reliably conservative newspaper for over 100 years, until it took a swing to the left, refusing to endorse a GOP presidential candidate since 2004, went so far as to liken McGraw to the Taliban. Yes, because obviously those are the same things. It's leftists making connections that don't actually exist. Okay, like comparing Trump to a certain funny mustache German guy. That's just not a thing. So it says, McGraw embedded with U.S. immigration officers during deportation raids and interviewed Sam Seda, a Thai national whom Borders Tom Homan stated was an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. He's walking the streets of Chicago, Homan added, and apparently the Chicago Tribune has a problem with getting this person off the streets. It says, McGraw asked Seda if he'd been charged with sex crimes involving children, as Homan had stated, prompting Seda to answer, not really, which is not exactly a vote of confidence. Here in America, we don't have show trials, nor do we ritualistically lambast such people in service of political power or television ratings. The Tribune editorial board huffed, unlike some nations, we don't hang, beat, or interrogate people in the public square either. Well, they're trying to let you know, they're trying to be, first of all, they're trying to be transparent about what they're doing, and they're also trying to show people that these are the folks who are being pulled off the street. And again, apparently the Tribune has a problem with that. Says, then the Tribune vilified McGraw, saying, we were astonished to see Phil McGraw, so they didn't even call him doctor. So it says, we were astonished to see Phil McGraw, a man who uses a sobriquet that includes the word doctor. Okay, so they're insulting him. It says, embedding himself with ICE, a questionable move in and of itself for a person who has claimed to heal. It's really not, guys. And then literally shining a spotlight on a Thai national who was rounded up by ICE on Sunday in Chicago. And they have totally left out why ICE was there picking up the guy. So it's not just because he was a Thai national, guys. You forgot the important part. So it says, the Tribune wrote dramatically, Dr. Phil's quarry told him that he recognized him from TV and then took part, consciously or not, in his own ritual humiliation for a hungry TV audience. Yeah, this is an utter and complete mischaracterization of what was actually going on. And if they don't know that, then they're just propagandists. I mean, they're not anything better than that. After acknowledging that the man reportedly was a convicted sex offender and internet predator, and we want him gone, the Tribune took a swipe at the Trump administration, writing, we understand the propaganda value, too, for a Trump administration that wants to confirm the president's point that there are bad people in this city and state without legal authorization. Yes, they should be sent back then. Okay, and so they did acknowledge it. It's like they buried the lead here. They're mentioning all the other stuff, and then oh, by the way, here you go. So Tribune, shame on you, very much shame on you. Says there was something profoundly unsettling about a man who found fame and huge fortune in our city on the Oprah Winfrey Show, a man who made his bones by offering advice to often vulnerable guests as a psychotherapist would, someone who set himself up as an avuncular healer, telling people how to nurture their relationship with their spouse or cope after a relationship has fallen apart, the Tribune complained. What does that have to do with anything what he was doing? What does that have to do? What does one thing have to do with the other? Okay, so he did one thing on his show, and now he's showing up here. So who cares? Is not yet done attacking the Trump administration. The Tribune snapped, we get why Donald Trump's Department of Justice wants him there. It implies that such people won't just be removed, they'll be humiliated at the same time. And this person is here, let's just scroll back up a little bit. convicted sex offender and internet predator, guys. Let's just highlight this right here. Like, okay, just remember that, okay? And they're like, oh my God, he's being humiliated. Like, I don't care. Like, there is not a part of me that's like, yeah, that's horrible. We shouldn't do that. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Just your Tribune, your editorial board, your morals are in the wrong place. Okay, so finally, one more sentence here. It says, incredibly, the Tribune then compared Dr. Phil to the Taliban, which is an obviously normal comparison to make, writing, given the abhorrent nature of the Thai nationals' crimes, it's easy to say that's all fine. Take all the licks you want, Dr. Phil, but it's not. The Taliban do not roam the streets of Chicago, and their modus operandi should not be applied here. And again, that's a complete false equivalency. That's like the false equivalency of all false equivalencies. So just a bunch of idiots must be on their board, because what the hell? Like, this is, like I said, this was the paper that we always got, when I was younger at our house. And just to see this turn to something that's like, you guys, I don't even have words. You can hear me stumbling over myself right now. This is just so stupid. Anyway, let me know what you think about the Chicago Tribune and what they did here. And do you agree with Dr. Phil being on those ICE raids? Do you have any problem with it? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.